Welcome to our presentation on the Introduction to Project Management. The International Association of Certified Practicing Engineers is a partnership of academics, practical engineers, and those striving to increase their knowledge and boost their career. The goal is to build an organization that would validate a candidate's engineering fundamentals, prove their individual skills, and enhance their networking ability. Project management, some definitions. A temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product or service. An undertaking with established starting point, defined objectives, the achievement of which signifies the conclusion of the project. More formal, and the application of knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques to a broad range of activities in order to initiate, plan, execute, monitor, and close down a project in a controlled manner. Projects versus operations. Projects tend to be unique, finite, revolutionary change, unbalanced objectives, transient resources. You need to have flexibility. There's risk and uncertainty, and there's an EPC contract. Operations tend to be repetitive, ongoing, evolutionary change, slowly or changes over time, balanced objectives, stable resources, stability, experience, and if there is a contract, it's typically a maintenance type contract. What is the knowledge you need to be a good project manager? Well, you need to have you need to have your foot in a lot of different fields. You need general management knowledge, such as leadership, communication, organizing, staffing, team building, planning, instructing, coordinating, implementing, monitoring, controlling. General project management. You need technical industrial knowledge. You need to have knowledge of civil engineers, mechanical engineers, chemical engineers, IT engineers. You need to have a broad range of technical knowledge. You need to have supporting disciplines. Logistics, you need to be able to ship things. Quality assurance and control. Computers, legal contracts. Human resources, sales and accounting, accounts and finance, purchasing. To be a good project manager, you need a broad range of knowledge in many fields. What is the project management process? We start the project, we initiate it, we plan it, we control it, we execute it, which controlling and execution goes back and forth. When it's completed, we close it. What is the interaction in a project? We start it, we plan it, we execute it. The whole time we're controlling it, and then we close it. There are several rules of project management. The first is called the iron team. The second is the iron triangle. The second is called the correct team. Is your contractor your friend? Correct scope and change order management. This is called the iron triangle because it cannot be broken. You get to pick two sides and the other side is fixed. If you want low cost and done quickly, you're probably going to sacrifice quality. If you want high quality at low cost, it's going to take you a long time. So low cost and high quality means longer time. High quality, short time means higher cost. Low cost and short time means low quality. All right? So this is, in the middle there it says it's not possible to get it good, fast, and cheap. So if you want it good and fast, it's going to be expensive. If you want it good and cheap, it's probably going to be slow. If you want it fast and cheap, it's probably going to have low quality. The correct team. Most people understand that to manage successfully an endeavor, one needs at least 5 to 10 years of that relevant experience. The reservoir of knowledge one gains from 5 to 10 years of relevant experience is huge. And part of this is just life experience. What to expect from people, what is the normal amount of work that you can expect to be completed, how to manage personnel. To manage a refinery, an ethylene plant, or other chemical plant, If we choose a person with no relevant experience, we understand in advance that this person has a low probability of success. We also understand that we will lose at least 10 to 30% of the potential plant profitability because of this lack of knowledge. I've seen this numerous times in my career where they leave money on the table because they don't understand all of the fundamentals of running a refinery or an ethylene plant. Yet for some reason we lose this rule when it comes to project management. I've seen numerous managers and teams chosen to lead a project with no relevant project management experience. Again, we should also understand that we will pay an extra 10, 30, or even 50% for the cost of the project. And I'll explain more why you pay more than 50% for the cost of the project. The correct team. It needs to be a person who has managed projects before. Typically, we pick very good operations managers. But the skill set for an operations manager is much different than the skill set for a project manager. An operations manager needs to be calm. He needs to be, in a project manager, it's a risky and it's uncertainty. He needs to be able to make decisions and move quickly. The correct team. I'm a chemical engineer. It hurts me to say this. Mechanical engineers may be better project managers than chemical engineers. Chemical engineers always want to improve things, even in the middle of a project, which hurts cost, scope, and schedule. Unless it's a major change that's going to make millions of dollars, you need to keep to the scope and budget because of the change orders, which I'm going to discuss. A good project manager stays with the approved scope and budget unless it's just a huge moneymaker. The correct team. If we pick the correct team, here's what the project manager team looks like before the project starts. And here's what the project management team can look like after the project ends. You can literally be beat up. I've actually not joined project teams before because I felt like this would be what happened at the end of the project. Interaction within a project. This is not easy. This is the second time I've showed you this slide. This is not easy. Initiating, planning, execution, controlling, closing. You can look like that chicken if you don't do this correctly. Is your contractor your friend? Typically, an EPC project manager has 10 plus years EPC experience. He also has a large bonus based on the profitability of the project. He's not really your friend, not necessarily your enemy either, but you need to understand his motivation. He assures his large bonus by building the minimum required in the scope. His boss would be unhappy with him if he did not do this. If he bills you an extra $1 million, he's not going to be a project manager very long. If he's unethical, he bills below the minimum required to increase his bonus. And I've seen this done many times. They don't bill to the minimum required. Correct scope. There are several steps. There are steps that were developed on how to have a good project. They were based on previous bad projects. We developed a list of them on our website as a typical distillation project. www.kolmetz.com/distillation. You can see the typical steps of a good project. First should be a feasibility study, then the basic design, the feed study, detailed design, procurement construction, project management, and commissioning. Feasibility study should be about 0.5% of the total project cost. Feasibility study should be the first step. A feasibility study determines plus or minus 30% cost of the project and the expected return on investment. Basic design is next. This is the chemical engineering phase of the project. It determines the process flow diagram, the P&IDs, and equipment sizes. It's typically about 3% of the total project cost. Then next you should go to what's called a FEED, front-end engineering design. It's typically about 1% of the project cost. A FEED study should be to develop a complete invitation to bid. This is your scope. All right? And then you should bid it out to an EPC construction company. This invitation to bid is very important. The FEED should not be conducted by one of the EPC firms bidding on the project. This is a large conflict of interest in that EPC firm's favor. This invitation to bid is your scope document. A proper invitation to bid will save you millions in the EPC phase because of change orders, and we'll talk about change orders next. Correct scope. Detailed engineering is 7% for grassroots, about 10% for revamps. Detailed engineering is the civil, electrical, mechanical, and other engineering designs of the project. Then comes procurement and construction. The EPC firm's profit is maximized by building the plant at the minimum cost. You should have a project management team. The EPC should have a project management team. You should have a project management team that in turn your EPC firm will build to the contract standards. Project management, 3% of the project cost. Many times they leave this out. On a large project, it's a good idea to have an independent firm to review the EPC firm's design, procurement, and construction. We'll be very happy to recommend some excellent project managers for your team. The EPC firm should always make decisions in their best interest. Maximize profit equals build cheap. It's naive for you to think otherwise. Commissioning. The pre-commissioning is started when the equipment construction is complete. Pre-commissioning involves cleaning and preparation of the service. The commissioning is the actual placing of the equipment and design. We'll be happy to recommend some excellent commissioning teams for your project. Correct scope. Feasibility study, basic design, FEED study, which builds the invitation to bid, which makes the correct scope. Detailed design, procurement, construction, project management, commissioning. A change order. A change order is a change to the scope which affects cost and schedule. If there are many change orders, it means the scope was not well defined in the invitation to bid. For items in the invitation to bid, there are typically 3 bidders, and the normal profit margin for an EPC firm is about 15%. After awarding the bid, for changes not identified well in the invitation to bid, there's only one bidder. That's that guy. For these items, the profit margin is higher than 50%. Many times with a poor invitation to bid document, an EPC firm will bid very low to win the job, knowing they're going to make a large profit on the change orders. An experienced project manager will develop strategies to manage potential change orders. We discuss these strategies in our project management training course. Project success: on time, meeting schedule, within budget, meeting cost, achieving scope specifications, meeting quality, clients and all other stakeholders are happy. Project management is a complex endeavor which requires special skills and training. We were asked by the IECPE Industrial Advisory Board to develop a project management certification program. To satisfy this request, we developed the CPPM program, Certified Practicing Project Manager. This program can be found here, iecpe.com/CPPM-program home. The Certified Practicing Project Manager program contains 8 training modules. Each module is about an 80-page document. Okay? Ethics, inherently safer design, introduction to project management, management product time, quality, cost, which is the iron triangle, Managing scope, risk, and schedule, which is managing scope is a huge issue. Project execution, managing teams, managing the stakeholders, managing the owner of the company, and communications. This is a very good course. If you're interested in project management, we highly recommend that you look at the Certified Practicing Project Manager program. ICPE has 3 legs: knowledge, certification, network. We can be found at icpe.com. Starting ICPE, we began writing the Kolmetz Handbook of Process Equipment Design in 2007. We're honored it's been well received all over the world. We get emails from students asking for student discounts. The handbook is mostly purchased by companies, so the cost is high. And if you've ever searched anything on process equipment design, you've probably seen the Kolmetz Handbook of Process Equipment Design. This was our first chapter in January 2017. Leah, we've had some great people over the years helping us co-author the Kolmetz Handbook. In June 2014, we developed an idea to start an engineering association and utilize the handbook to train and certify individuals at a student rate. We're now in our 5th year of the association. In April 2015, we started the Engineering Practice Magazine. Engineering Practice Magazine is the official voice of the International Association of Certified Practicing Engineers. We're now in our 4th year, and readership is approaching 5,000 per issue. You should consider publishing and advertising in Engineering Practice Magazine. www.icpe.com/magazine. All the issues are there, and they're all free. Knowledge. ICPE provides a level of knowledge through our training modules. We have very good training modules that have been well received. The broad knowledge base you'll gain from the modules will make you perform much better in the interview. Our training modules have some civil engineering, some mechanical engineering, some chemical engineering. That knowledge base that you need to be a good project manager is in our modules. We were honored to get a thank you message from an engineer taking the Certified Practicing Project Manager program. He said he was able to answer every one of the interview questions and got hired based on the knowledge he gained from studying this program. Certification. We have knowledge, we have modules. Certification identifies and recognizes those individuals who meet the standard. As our network grows, there'll be people looking to hire someone with this qualification. In 5 years, you may be the person that's hiring, and you'll know the value of ICPE. Networking. The best jobs will come from a referral when one of your friends has recommended you. ICPE has conferences and seminars. We have meetings in your area. One day, you'll want to hire someone with this qualification. In 5 years, our goal is to have 5,000 members all over the world having the knowledge and benefits and the value of ICPE. This network will be a great asset and resource for you and your career. Knowledge, certification, networking, introduction to project management. All the best for you, your family, and your career.